Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm so glad you're here today. Whether you're a new viewer or a returning one, I truly appreciate you taking the time to join us. Life has a way of throwing challenges our way, and sometimes those challenges leave us feeling frustrated or confused. But no matter what you're facing today, I believe there's something important for you in this video. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like the things you want in life aren't happening the way you expected? Maybe you've worked hard for something and it just hasn't come to fruition yet. Or perhaps you've been waiting for an opportunity and it feels like it's taking forever to arrive. Have you ever wondered, why is everything being delayed? Why does it feel like I'm stuck and I don't understand why things aren't moving forward the way I thought they would? I'm sure we've all been there at some point. When things aren't happening the way we expect, it's easy to feel like we're failing or that life is just working against us. It can be frustrating, discouraging, and leave us questioning our path. But here's the thing, delays don't always mean failure. Today we're going to take a deep dive into something that might shift your perspective. Delay is something that everyone experiences at one point or another. But what if I told you that delay isn't always a sign that you're not meant to succeed? What if I told you that delay, rather than being a setback, is actually God's protection for you? I know this may sound surprising, especially when we are impatient or when we see others achieving things we've been waiting for, but the truth is sometimes God allows certain things to be delayed in our lives, not as a punishment, but to protect us from unnecessary struggles or even failures. Delay can be a way of making sure that we're fully prepared for what's to come, or that we're spared from potential harm or a situation that may not be the right fit for us, even if we can't see that yet. So let me ask you again, what if this delay you're experiencing is actually part of a greater plan? What if it's God's way of protecting you, keeping you from something that's not meant for you right now, and preparing you for something even better down the road? Today, we're going to explore exactly why delay might not be a bad thing, and how it can be God's way of guiding and protecting you. I want to share with you some insights that may change the way you see the delays in your life, helping you understand that this waiting period isn't time wasted, but rather a period of preparation for the bigger blessings ahead. Before we dive in, I'd love for you to join our community. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an inspiring video like this one. We're here to explore life's challenges together and help each other grow stronger and wiser every day. Thank you for being here, and let's get started. Life has a funny way of throwing obstacles our way, and sometimes these obstacles are in the form of delays. When we're faced with delays, it's easier to feel like we're not making progress, like we're stuck, or like we're being held back from the things we want most. It can feel like the universe is conspiring against us, or that we're somehow being punished for something. It's understandable to feel frustrated, discouraged, or even defeated when things don't happen as quickly as we expect. But what if I told you that delay is not a sign of failure? What if the delay you're experiencing is actually an opportunity? An opportunity to pause, reflect, and reassess. When things aren't moving as quickly as we want them to, we tend to assume that it's a sign that we've done something wrong, or that we're simply not meant to succeed. We often think that if we're not getting the results we want, it must mean we're failing. But in reality, delay is not rejection. It's often God's protection, or at the very least, an important moment in time that allows us to pause and recalibrate our plans. It's easy to get caught up in the frustration of not seeing immediate results, but what if that delay is actually helping us prepare for something greater? Delay doesn't mean that the opportunity is gone or that it will never come. It simply means that the timing is not right yet and that you are not ready yet. The question is, how do we approach those delays? Do we see them as a roadblock? Or do we recognize that this is a chance to prepare for what's ahead, to build up the qualities that will make us more successful in the future? The truth is, delays can be incredibly valuable. They give us the space we need to think, reflect, and make sure we are truly ready for the next step. Rather than pushing forward blindly, sometimes it's better to wait for the right moment. And in waiting, we often find clarity, understanding, and wisdom that we might have missed had things moved too quickly. Think about how many times we've rushed into situations, whether it's a job opportunity, a relationship, or a business venture, only to realize later that we weren't fully prepared for what came next. Delays are a reminder that sometimes we need more time to grow to become the person who can handle the challenges ahead. We've all experienced delays at some point in our lives. We apply for jobs only to wait months for a response, or we try to make something happen, but we get blocked at every turn. In these moments, it's easy to start thinking that we've been rejected, that we're not good enough, or that we're on the wrong path. But delay is not rejection. In fact, delays can often be God's way of preparing us for something bigger, something that will require more from us than we might even realize at this moment. Think about it when we're faced with a delay. It's often a chance to reevaluate. It's an opportunity to take a step back and ask ourselves whether what we're waiting for is truly the best thing for us. Are we fully ready for it? Are we being patient enough to let things fall into place at the right time? Instead of seeing delay as a setback, we can choose to see it as an opportunity to grow. It's in those moments of waiting that we have the time to reflect on what we really want and whether we are truly prepared for it. Sometimes we're in such a rush to get to the finish line that we forget that the journey itself holds the lessons we need for success. And more importantly, we forget that God's timing is always perfect, even if we don't understand it at the time. Delay can help us reassess our goals, refine our vision, and ensure that we are heading in the right direction. It can be an opportunity to build our strength, learn new skills, or work on the inner qualities we'll need to succeed in the future. Sometimes the best things in life take time, and delays give us the space to grow into the person who can handle them. Let's think about how often we experience delays in life. Maybe you've been waiting for a promotion at work, hoping for that one opportunity that will take your career to the next level. Or perhaps you're waiting for a relationship that just isn't happening as fast as you'd like. What do you do when the waiting feels endless? Consider the story of someone who applied for a job. They waited for months sometimes, hearing nothing back or getting rejected. In the meantime, they felt like their dreams were slipping further away. But during this waiting period, they didn't give up. Instead, they used this time to strengthen their skills network and broaden their horizons. Eventually, an opportunity came along, and it was even better than the one they initially hoped for. By waiting and preparing, they were able to seize the opportunity when it finally arrived. In life, waiting can feel like we're stuck in limbo, but more often than not, it's actually a period of preparation. We might not see it at the time, but waiting gives us the chance to develop qualities we need for the future. It might be building patience, improving our abilities, or simply taking time to reflect on what we really want in life. Sometimes the delays we experience today are protecting us from a future failure, allowing us to grow into the version of ourselves who is truly ready for success. One of the most powerful examples of waiting in the Bible is the story of Moses. Moses spent years in the desert, away from the people he was meant to lead, waiting for God's guidance. For many years, Moses' life seemed to be on hold. He had fled Egypt after killing an Egyptian guard, and he spent years as a shepherd in the wilderness. If you think about it, that seems like an incredibly long period of waiting. But during that time, Moses wasn't just waiting in vain. He was being prepared. God was shaping him into the leader he would need to be. The time Moses spent in the desert was not a punishment, but a time of development. God was working with Moses to help him understand the struggles of the people he was about to lead, giving him the wisdom and patience he would need to lead them through the wilderness. Moses could have looked at this delay and thought he was being rejected, that he wasn't good enough, or that his purpose had been lost, but instead he trusted in God's timing. In the end, his waiting period wasn't wasted, it was part of the greater plan. When Moses finally heard from God through the burning bush, he was more than ready for the mission ahead. The years of delay had prepared him for the leadership role that would change the course of history. Just like Moses, sometimes we go through periods of waiting where it feels like nothing is happening. But those moments of delay can be essential for our preparation. The things we are going through today, even the struggles, the waiting, and the feeling of being stuck, may just be part of the process that will make us stronger, wiser, and more capable of fulfilling our purpose. Delay is not failure, it's not a rejection or a sign that we're being held back. It's an opportunity to pause, reflect, and reassess our goals. It's a time to trust in God's timing and to understand that the things we want in life will come when we are ready for them and when the time is right. Just as Moses' time in the desert was essential for preparing him for his great mission, the delays we face today may be preparing us for something even bigger than we could imagine. So instead of seeing delay as a setback, let's choose to see it as an opportunity to grow and prepare for the greater things to come. In our fast-paced world, we're often conditioned to expect instant results. Whether it's through quick access to information fast food or immediate gratification from technology, we've become accustomed to getting things done quickly. As a result, when we face delays in life, whether it's waiting for a job offer, a relationship to blossom, or a dream to come true, it can feel frustrating, even disheartening. We might wonder why things aren't moving as fast as we think they should, or why our prayers seem to go unanswered. But here's a powerful truth. God knows the right timing for everything in our lives. While we may desire quick resolutions and immediate outcomes, God understands that there are things in our lives we're not yet ready for. There are challenges we need to overcome, lessons we need to learn, and experiences we need to grow through before we can receive the great blessings He has planned for us. Imagine for a moment that we received everything we wanted as soon as we asked for it. On the surface, that might seem like a dream come true. But the truth is, if we're not prepared for what we're asking for, those blessings could actually become burdens. Without the proper preparation, we may find ourselves overwhelmed, ungrateful, or even ill-equipped to handle the responsibilities that come with the blessings we've been given. This is why God's timing is perfect. He knows exactly when we are ready to step into the next phase of our lives, and He will open doors for us when the time is right. Delays are often not a sign of rejection, but rather a sign of divine protection. God is ensuring that when the time comes, we will be ready to embrace the blessings He has in store for us without being overwhelmed or unprepared. It's about more than just getting what we want. It's about receiving it when we are mature enough and spiritually equipped to handle it. One of the key aspects of enduring delays is learning to let things happen at the right time. It's easy to get frustrated or discouraged when we don't see immediate progress, but there's a deep sense of peace that comes from understanding that God's timing is not only perfect but also for our good. When we're waiting for something to unfold in our lives, it's easy to feel like we're stuck in a holding pattern. We might feel like we're doing everything right, yet the breakthrough seems to never come. But this is where patience becomes an important part of the process. Patience is not just waiting, it's waiting with trust and confidence in God's plan. It's the understanding that everything happens in due season, and God is never late. Even when it feels like we're running out of time, delays are often part of the preparation process. When God withholds something from us temporarily, it's because He's helping us become stronger, more focused, or more capable. He's preparing us to receive what He knows we need, but only at the time when we can handle it without being overwhelmed. If we were to receive a blessing before we were fully ready, we might find ourselves misusing it or missing the opportunity to grow in the process. Let's take a closer look at Abraham and Sarah in the Bible, a powerful example of waiting on God's timing. The story of Abraham and Sarah is one of the most profound examples of waiting for God's timing. Abraham and Sarah were promised by God that they would have a child, even though both were well past the age of childbearing. God made this promise to Abraham, telling him that he would be the father of many nations. Genesis 17:4-5. But despite the promise, years passed and they had no children. They prayed, they waited, and they trusted, yet nothing seemed to change. In their impatience, Sarah even tried to take matters into her own hands. She gave her maidservant Hagar to Abraham to have a child, believing that this was the way God would fulfill His promise. But this created complications and further delays. It wasn't until 25 years later that God fulfilled His promise to them, and Sarah gave birth to Isaac. At first glance, it may seem like the delay in Abraham and Sarah's life was a failure on God's part to fulfill his promise. But in reality, that delay was God's protection. It was during those years of waiting that God was working in them, shaping their faith, and teaching them to trust in his perfect timing. Had God granted them a child immediately, they might have missed the lessons they needed to learn about obedience, faith, and patience. The delay wasn't a failure, but a way for God to prepare them for the blessing ahead. When Isaac was finally born, he wasn't just a child, he was the fulfillment of God's promise, and his birth set in motion the future of the Israelite nation. Had Abraham and Sarah rushed ahead of God's plan, the blessings they received would have been far less significant. This story is a reminder that God's promises are always fulfilled, but in his perfect timing. What may feel like a delay is actually God's protection, ensuring that when the blessing comes, we are ready to fully appreciate and handle it. Just as Abraham and Sarah had to wait, sometimes we need to wait for God's timing before we can step into the greatness he has prepared for us. Another crucial aspect of delay is that it often protects us from undesirable situations that we may not yet see or understand. Sometimes delay is not just about God preparing us for something good, it's about keeping us safe from potential harm. There are times in life when a delay keeps us from rushing into situations that are not right for us. A job opportunity, for example, might be delayed because there are other things we need to experience first, or we may need more time to grow into the role. In the meantime, we may come to realize that the job was not as good a fit as we initially thought, or that another opportunity more in line with our values is on the way. In relationships, delays can also be protective. We may be waiting for the right person to come into our lives, but God might be holding back that connection because we're not yet ready, or because he has someone better in store for us. The delay isn't a sign that love isn't coming, it's a sign that God is preparing us to meet the person who is truly right for us at the right time. Consider also the financial investments or business ventures that we might feel tempted to rush into. Sometimes delays in these areas are God's way of protecting us from loss or disaster. We might not see it in the moment, but a delay often allows us to take a step back, evaluate the situation, and make a wiser decision. God is always working behind the scenes to ensure that we are spared from things that might harm us. We don't always know the full picture, but God does. He knows when the timing's right, not just for blessings, but also for our protection. The next time you feel frustrated by a delay, remember that it could very well be God's way of shielding you from something that isn't meant for you. God knows the right timing for everything. While delays may seem frustrating, they are often a sign of God's protection and preparation. His timing ensures that we are ready for the blessings that he has in store, and that we are protected from things that might harm us. Just as Abraham and Sarah had to wait for the promise of a child, sometimes we must wait for God's timing to step into the life he has planned for us. Trust that every delay has a purpose and that God's protection is woven into the waiting periods. Remember, he is always working for our good, preparing us for the greatness that is to come in his perfect time. In a world where everything seems to happen at lightning speed, it's easy to get impatient when things don't move as quickly as we want. When we're facing delays or waiting for something to unfold, it's hard to stay hopeful, especially when we don't see immediate results. We may begin to doubt whether we're on the right path or question whether we're doing enough to achieve our goals. But what if we view delay as part of God's perfect plan, rather than something to be frustrated by? Trusting God's guidance requires us to believe that he knows what is best for us, even when we don't understand why things aren't happening as quickly as we would like. God's plan for our lives is always unfolding at the right pace, even when it seems like we are being held back. And while we might not always see it in the moment, every delay is simply a part of the process that helps ensure we are fully prepared for what's ahead. It's important to remember that God is never late. When we trust in his timing, we recognize that delays aren't a sign that we're not meant for something, they are a sign that God is preparing us for something greater. God is preparing us to step into a new season of our lives, a season where we are fully equipped and ready to handle the blessings He has planned for us. When you're in a waiting period, it's easy to become anxious, questioning why things aren't moving. But in these moments, it's essential to trust the preparation that God is doing in your life. Delays are often the tools that shape us, refine our character, and build the resilience we'll need to face what's ahead. God may be working behind the scenes, making sure that we are truly ready to step into what He has in store for us, and that readiness doesn't always happen overnight. So if you're feeling discouraged or impatient, take a deep breath and remember that God's timing is perfect. Trust that what you're waiting for will come when it's the right time, and in the meantime, He's working to ensure you're prepared for the blessings that lie ahead. Waiting can be one of the most difficult parts of the journey. In a world that thrives on instant gratification, it can feel like you're missing out or falling behind when things aren't happening as quickly as you hope. But here's the truth. Waiting is a vital part of the process. It's during the waiting that we learn some of the most important lessons of life. Rather than getting frustrated by delays, I encourage you to learn to live in the present moment and trust that the waiting period is essential for your growth. Every day that passes, every delay you face is an opportunity to learn to grow and to be shaped into the person you're becoming. We often spend so much time focusing on the future, what's next, what we want to achieve and when we will get there, that we forget to appreciate the present. Waiting doesn't mean that life is on pause. Instead, it means that we are in a season of preparation and every moment counts. One of the keys to navigating delays is to stop looking ahead so far into the future and start focusing on what is happening right now. Trust the process, because every step, even the ones that feel slow or uncertain, is a step forward. The journey is never wasted, even if the end result takes longer than expected. Every moment is necessary for our development and our growth. When we start seeing the present as a valuable part of the journey, we begin to recognize that waiting is not wasted time. We start to learn patience, resilience, and trust. The more we learn to embrace the process, the easier it becomes to accept the delays that come our way. God's plan for us is bigger than what we can see in the present moment. Each day of waiting brings us closer to the person we need to be to fully embrace the blessings He has in store. Instead of rushing through the process, we need to learn how to enjoy it, to trust it, and to recognize that even in the waiting, we are being shaped into something better. To illustrate this idea, let's look at a real-life example of someone who learned to see delay as a blessing rather than a setback. Imagine the story of Rachel, a woman who had been working tirelessly in her career for years, hoping for a promotion that she felt was long overdue. She was ambitious, driven, and had given her best to the company. But despite her efforts, the promotion never came. She'd been waiting for what felt like an eternity, watching as others around her seemed to climb the ladder faster than she was. She felt discouraged and began to question whether she was on the right path. In her frustration, she reached out to a mentor who had guided her throughout her career. Her mentor listened patiently and then shared something powerful. Sometimes, Rachel, what we see as a delay is actually God's way of preparing us for something better. Have you taken the time to reflect on your skills, your goals, and what you truly want from this job? Rachel was initially taken aback, but the more she thought about it, the more she realized that her frustration was rooted in impatience. While waiting for that promotion, she hadn't taken the time to improve her skills further or to explore other avenues for growth. She hadn't given herself the opportunity to reassess her goals and what she really wanted in her career. With a renewed perspective, Rachel decided to embrace the delay and use the time to her advantage. She took online courses to learn new skills, connected with colleagues in different departments to expand her network, and worked on developing leadership qualities. Over time, her patience paid off, and not only did she get promoted to a higher position than she initially hoped for, but she was also better equipped to succeed in her new role. Rachel's story is a perfect example of how delay can be a blessing in disguise. If she'd received the promotion right away, she might not have taken the time to improve herself, expand her skills, or evaluate whether that was the right role for her in the long term. The delay gave her the chance to grow into the person she needed to be for the next chapter of her career. What if Rachel had given up? What if she had allowed her frustration to lead her to quit or settle for less than what she deserved? In the same way, if we allow frustration to take over during times of waiting, we might miss out on the preparation and growth that could make our dreams even bigger than we originally imagined. Rachel's story also shows us the importance of trusting God's timing and embracing the journey, even when it feels slow. God may not always give us what we want immediately, but He always gives us what we need when we are ready to receive it. When we look back on the waiting periods in our lives, we often realize that the delay was exactly what we needed to become better versions of ourselves. In our lives, we may experience delays in relationships, career opportunities, health improvements, or even in achieving personal goals. It's easy to become frustrated or impatient, but the reality is that God is using those times to prepare us to make us stronger and to help us grow in ways we might not understand at the moment. We must trust that God's plan is unfolding, and every step, even the waiting, is part of the bigger picture He has in store for us. Trust that God is working on your behalf even in the delays. Know that every moment of waiting is a gift, a chance to grow and be prepared for something even better than you could have imagined. As we conclude, remember that trusting God's plan means believing in His perfect timing. Delays are not a sign of rejection. They are part of the process of preparation. Trust that God is guiding you every step of the way, even during times of waiting. Learn to live in the present, embracing the journey, and trusting that every moment, every delay, and every challenge is a necessary part of your growth. Patience and trust in the process will allow you to embrace the waiting periods, knowing that God is using them to equip you for the blessings that lie ahead. Keep your eyes on the prize and trust that everything will fall into place when the time is right. As we come to the end of today's video, let's take a moment to recap the main message. Delay is not failure, but rather a part of the bigger plan that God has for us. In life, we often feel frustrated when things don't happen as quickly as we would like, but it's important to remember that sometimes we need to wait and trust the process. God knows the right timing for everything in our lives, and His timing is always perfect. What might feel like a delay today is actually a time of preparation, a time when God is getting us ready for something greater that's just around the corner. It's easy to view delays as setbacks, but they are often moments of growth, reflection, and building strength. Trusting God means trusting His timing, knowing that everything will unfold in the way that's best for us. When we embrace this truth, the waiting period becomes a part of the journey that strengthens our faith and our resilience. So I want to encourage you today. Every challenge, every delay is shaping you into a stronger, wiser person. Even when it feels like nothing is happening, know that God is working behind the scenes. He is protecting you during this time, preparing you for the greater blessings and opportunities that are waiting for you. The delays are not a sign of rejection, but rather part of God's perfect plan to make you ready for what's to come. Don't give up, you are on the path of the chosen. Keep moving forward with faith and trust that everything you're going through is preparing you for something extraordinary. Great things are waiting for you, and the journey is just as important as the destination. Keep believing in the process and trust that God's timing will always be worth the wait. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Share your story about a delay you've experienced and how it turned out to be a blessing. Maybe you were frustrated at the time, but looking back, you can see how God was protecting you or preparing you for something greater. Your story could be the encouragement someone else needs today. Also, if you found this video helpful or inspiring, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. We're here to grow together, and I don't want you to miss any of the content that will inspire and encourage you on your journey. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Remember, keep trusting in God's timing, keep moving forward, and keep believing that the best is yet to come.